Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Corner. In the quiet hours of the night, beneath the forest floor and under layers of fallen leaves, an entire world stirs in silence. A world older than trees, older than animals, older than the soil itself. The realm of mushrooms, glowing softly in the dark, weaving threads of life through the earth, whispering in ways only nature understands. Tonight, we drift into this hidden universe, a place where networks speak without sound, where ancient secrets travel through roots, and where life rises from the stillness. Let your breath slow, and let the forest guide you into wonder. If you enjoy these quiet journeys into hidden worlds, you're welcome to subscribe for more softly spoken documentaries designed for peaceful nights and curious minds. No rush, no pressure. Just join whenever you're ready to drift deeper into calm, wonder, and sleep. Somewhere beneath the cool breath of the forest night, a soft stillness settles across the land. The world above grows quiet, the wind slows, the leaves hush, and the chorus of daytime life fades into a distant whisper. But below the fallen branches, below the layers of ancient soil and drifting moss, another world gently awakens. A world that moves without footsteps, communicates without sound, and grows with a patience older than memory. Tonight, we begin our journey not by looking upward toward the stars, but downward, into the hidden threads that tie the earth together. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a quiet woodland. The sun has slipped beyond the horizon, leaving a cool blue glow suspended between day and night. Mist gathers low to the ground, curling around your ankles in soft ribbons. As your eyes adjust to the dimness, faint speckles of light shimmer across the forest floor, subtle glows like embers that never burn, lanterns that never flicker. These are the first hints of the hidden kingdom beneath your feet. Mushrooms. Not merely plants. Not quite animals. But something entirely different. Something ancient, intricate, and quietly extraordinary. A single mushroom you see rising from the ground is just a moment, just a surface expression of something far larger. Like a leaf on a vast unseen tree. Like a single word in an endless story. That small cap and slender stem are simply the fruiting body, the visible tip of a world-spanning organism known as mycelium, an interconnected network of delicate, thread-like filaments moving through the soil like strands of moonlight. If you could peel back the forest floor, gently, without disturbing a single living thing, you would see it, a soft, branching web extending in every direction. A silent architecture woven with the precision of nature's most patient engineers. This unseen network is more than life. It is connection. Mycelium binds the forest together, linking tree roots, sharing nutrients, passing signals, redistributing life where it is needed most. Scientists sometimes call it the Wood Wide Web, a natural communication system older and more elegant than anything humans have ever built. But even that name feels too modern, too mechanical. Mycelium is more like an underground symphony, a gentle exchange of whispers, guided by chemistry, shaped by time. As you listen, as the forest breathes around you, you might imagine each thread carrying a message, not in words or thoughts, but in tiny pulses of nutrients, in subtle electrical rhythms, in patterns written into the very fabric of the soil. And so we begin with a simple question, one that has puzzled scientists, naturalists, and dreamers alike. What exactly is a mushroom? The answer is both simple and endlessly surprising. A mushroom is the brief, visible moment of a vast subterranean life form. It is the fruit of a hidden intelligence, not conscious, not sentient, but astonishingly adaptive. A mushroom exists only to release spores, to spread its lineage, to continue the quiet growth of its network. It blooms when conditions are perfect. The right moisture, the right temperature, the right balance of light and darkness. You may think of mushrooms as small, delicate things, passing curiosities after rain. But the truth is that they are part of one of Earth's oldest and most resilient kingdoms of life. older than plants, older than flowers, older even than trees. Long before forests existed, fungi were already shaping the land. Long before animals took their first steps, mycelial webs were breaking down rock, forming the earliest soils, creating pathways for future life. And yet, for all this ancient history, mushrooms remain some of the quietest inhabitants of Earth. They do not call attention to themselves. They do not roar or bloom with bright colors, at least not often. Instead, they thrive in subtlety, in shadow, in hidden spaces where the world forgets to look. Even now, as you breathe gently in this nighttime forest, there is more happening beneath you than your senses can detect. Mycelium is at work, transporting minerals from stone to root, decomposing fallen wood, turning death into life again and again. It is nature's recycler, nature's healer, nature's communicator. And yet, most of its world remains invisible. Perhaps that invisibility is part of its wonder. It invites us to slow down, to notice the small things, to appreciate the delicate balance beneath each step we take. Tonight, as you sink deeper into calm, this documentary will take you through the mushroom world not as observers from afar, but as quiet travelers allowed into a realm few truly notice. A world that thrives in silence, glows softly in darkness, and grows in patterns that seem almost dreamlike. We will explore how fungi breathe life into forests, how they whisper through soil, how they stretch across continents, and how they have shaped Earth's history in ways both gentle and profound. But for now, breathe slowly. Feel the stillness of the forest. Let the soft textures of the night settle around you. This is only the beginning. The doorway into the hidden fungal universe is opening, and with each quiet step, we continue deeper into the mystery. Long before forests existed, long before animals wandered across continents, long before Earth knew the colors of flowers or the shelter of towering trees, there was fungus. To step back into the origins of mushrooms is to drift into a time so ancient, so unfamiliar, that the world feels almost like another planet. A place of volcanic breaths and endless storms, where continents were still forming, and the air carried the raw scent of creation. Imagine the Earth more than 1 billion years ago. The landscape is dark and barren. The sky glows with the red haze of volcanic ash. Oceans churn violently beneath lightning-split clouds. There are no forests, no leaves, no animals, only stone, water, and the earliest whispers of life. And in this stark, primordial world, fungi emerged. Not in the form we know them today. No delicate caps, no mushroom clusters rising from fallen logs, but as networks, thin and patient, weaving into the newly formed soil. They were among the first colonizers of land, some of Earth's earliest explorers of solid ground. Before plants ever set down roots, fungi were already there, quietly testing the terrain. The origins of fungi reach so far back in time that even science struggles to trace their beginning. Fossils from these eras are rare, fragile, and often ambiguous. They leave more questions than answers. But what we do know is this. Fungi stepped onto land hundreds of millions of years before trees ever appeared. They were here when the continents were still young. They were here when the atmosphere was changing. They were here when life's future was still uncertain. And in those early ages, they did more than simply survive. They shaped the world. Picture the first stable soils forming, not through the actions of plants, but through the slow, deliberate work of mycelium. Thread by thread, fungi broke down rock. Thread by thread, they transformed barren landscapes into places where life could one day grow. These networks turned stone into nourishment, setting the foundation for everything that would come after. In the quietest, most patient way, fungi prepared the earth for forests long before forests existed. But the story becomes even stranger, even more wondrous, when we look at the early giants of the fungal world. Around 400 million years ago, during a time when the tallest plants were only a few feet high, something enormous rose from the ground, towering columns reaching up to 30 feet tall. Massive, dark, pillar-like structures with no branches, no leaves, and no connection to anything we know today. They were called prototaxites, and for decades, scientists didn't know what they were. A giant alga? A type of ancient tree? A strange evolutionary experiment? Only recently did evidence reveal the truth. Prototaxites were fungal giants, the largest living organisms on land during their time. Imagine walking through a silent prehistoric landscape, surrounded by giants that weren't trees, but fungi. Colossal pillars rising from the earth. Cylinders of life made from layer upon layer of woven mycelium. Standing alone like sentinels across a young planet. There is something eerily beautiful about these ancient forms, not frightening, but deeply mysterious. A reminder that fungi have been rewriting the rules of life for millions of years. As we glide slowly through deep time, we see how fungi continued shaping the world in subtle, essential ways. In their hidden labor, they helped prepare Earth for one of the most important transitions in the history of life. The arrival of plants onto land. Before plants could root themselves in soil, that soil had to exist. Before roots could pull nutrients from the earth, something had to break down the rock. Before forests could rise, quiet workers needed to till the ground, enrich it, soften it. Those workers were fungi. Mycelium networks partnered with early plants, forming relationships still alive today. In a dance older than trees themselves, fungi shared nutrients, guided roots, and protected plants from harsh environments. They became gateways, bridges between mineral and life. Without fungi, plants may never have conquered land. Without fungi, forests may never have risen. Without fungi, Earth's surface might have remained barren and silent. And yet, for all their contributions, so much about fungal origins remains cloaked in mystery. Some fossils are so ancient that their structure defies interpretation. Others hint at fungal forms that don't match any modern species. There are even theories that fungi's evolutionary pathways may stretch back farther than we can currently measure. It is as though fungi moved through time with their own quiet rhythm, leaving only faint traces behind, traces that whisper but never fully reveal themselves. This is the nature of their history. Deep, elusive, half hidden in stone and shadow, silent architects of early Earth. As you drift through this ancient landscape in your mind, notice how strangely peaceful it feels, despite the storms, the lava, the rawness of a world still forming. Picture the slow, patient spread of early mycelium, thin threads weaving across barren rock, reaching outward like gentle hands exploring the unknown. Nothing rushed, nothing loud, just the soft persistence of life overcoming stone. This is where the kingdom of mushrooms began, in the quiet spaces, the forgotten corners, the challenging terrains that other life forms had not yet learned to inhabit. And from those early steps, an entire world would unfold. A world that would one day glow in forests, bloom after rain, and rise in shapes so delicate and strange that they seem almost dreamlike. But for now, remain in this ancient time. Let the volcanic skies shift softly above you. Let the early earth breathe with slow, thunderous warmth. Let the fungal pioneers continue their steady, patient growth through the soil. Because from these beginnings, the vast, interconnected fungal universe was born. Imagine, for a moment, drifting above a quiet forest at night. Moonlight resting gently on the treetops. A soft silver glow brushing against the leaves. And beneath that peaceful surface, something unimaginably vast is breathing. Something older than the forest. something larger than any creature walking upon the earth. Something so silent, yet so powerful, it shapes life without ever being seen. This is the hidden world of fungi. And as we move deeper into this section, allow your breath to soften. Allow your shoulders to unclench, and picture the ground beneath you gently opening, not with fear, but with wonder, revealing an entire universe of threads, signals, connections, and quiet intelligence. A world beneath the world. A forest beneath the forest. A universe at your feet. When people imagine the largest living thing, they often picture a blue whale, or a towering redwood, or perhaps an ancient coral reef spreading across the sea. But the truth is far more enchanting, and far more hidden. The largest organism on Earth is a fungus. A single armillaria organism, often called the honey fungus, spreads quietly through the soil, its body stretching across miles. Not roots, not branches, but delicate white filaments, thin as a whisper, yet strong enough to bind entire ecosystems together. Some of these organisms are estimated to be thousands of years old, like silent, glowing guardians beneath the forest floor. Imagine lying down on soft moss in a quiet Oregon forest, knowing that below you, stretching further than your eyes could ever see, is a single living being, calm, ancient, patient, shaping the ground beneath every tree. And yet, you would never notice it. No vibration, no sound, just a silent presence woven deep into the earth. If you could shrink down to the size of a grain of sand and slip under the soil, you would find yourself in a glowing labyrinth. White threads branching in every direction, weaving patterns that look like galaxies, stars connected by soft, luminous lines. This is mycelium, the true body of fungi. The mushroom on the surface? That's just the fruit. Just the brief, visible moment. The way an apple appears for a short season on a tree. But the tree itself, the foundation, the life force, that's the mycelium. Thread-like, patient, everywhere. Mycelium grows quietly through soil, wood, fallen leaves, and even stone, connecting one thing to another without pause, linking tree to tree, plant to plant, a living web that stretches across landscapes like a soft, breathing map. Some networks are the size of cities. Some are as small as your hand. All of them work together in silence. If you've ever walked in a forest and felt something ancient beneath your feet, a kind of invisible pulse, a sense of unity, you were feeling the presence of fungi. Trees do not stand alone. Plants do not grow alone. Life in the forest is not a collection of separate beings. It is a community braided together by mycelium. Scientists often call this the wood wide web. But even that phrase feels too technical, too modern, too small, because what fungi create is not just a network. It is a lifeline, a communication channel, a support system, a shared bloodstream for the entire forest. When one tree is thirsty, its fungal partners deliver water from others. When a young sapling needs nutrients, mycelium carries them patiently through the soil. When a tall, wise, ancient tree senses danger, pests, drought, disease, it sends chemical signals through fungal threads to warn the others. Like whispers carried through the earth. The forest doesn't just stand together. It thinks together. It breathes together. All because of the soft white threads beneath the surface. Imagine a glowing neural network, the kind you might see in photographs of the human brain, each point pulsing softly with light. Now imagine that same pattern, but stretched beneath entire landscapes. Fungi create that. Signals passing from root to root. Chemicals traveling like gentle messages. Resources shared like gifts. Not in seconds. not in minutes, but in slow, thoughtful waves, the rhythm of an ecosystem thinking quietly to itself. Every step in a forest, every rustle of leaves, every new shoot rising from the ground, all of it is connected by fungal intelligence, a vastness so serene, so intricate, so patient, that even the stars, if they could see into the soil, might marvel. To truly appreciate the immensity, let's paint the picture gently. Close your eyes, or soften them if they're already growing heavy, and imagine standing at the edge of a peaceful forest clearing. The sky above you, wide and dark and filled with soft starlight. Now imagine lowering a glowing map beneath the soil, watching as fine white lines begin to appear, branching, merging, spreading, like constellations under your feet. As you zoom out, you see the network extend further, and further, and further. A mile, then 2, then 5, threads touching roots, traveling under streams, reaching new groves, never stopping, never hurrying, just flowing outward like breath. This is the quiet unity fungi create, not forced, not demanded, simply offered, a harmony written in silence. As we step back into the gentle present moment, let this understanding settle over you softly. You are living on a planet where the ground itself is alive, connected, whispering in slow rhythms, a world where unity is not loud, where cooperation is not forced, where communication is not rushed, but calm, quiet, patient. In the fungal world, everything is connected, everything is supported, everything is part of a greater whole. And just like the forest, you too are held by unseen threads, connections, relationships, moments of kindness, breaths of peace, woven gently through your life. You are not alone. You are part of a vast, interconnected story, as ancient and as beautiful as the mycelium beneath the trees. Beneath the soft glow of moonlight, and under the hush of the forest night, the intricate architecture of mushrooms begins to reveal itself. What appears to the eye as a simple cap rising above the soil is merely the tip of a much larger, unseen network. These networks, known as mycelium, stretch like delicate threads through earth, leaf litter, and decaying wood, weaving an intricate lattice that connects the forest in quiet, patient harmony. Each strand pulses with purpose, though silently, linking roots, nutrients, and life in a rhythm that feels ancient, slow, and deliberate. If one could gaze closely, almost microscopically, the mycelium seems almost alive with motion, though imperceptible to the human eye. The threads branch and weave, overlapping in patterns that resemble rivers flowing beneath the land, sometimes merging and sometimes diverging, creating a living map of the forest itself. These threads are not random. They follow gradients of moisture, nutrient, and chemical signals, responding to the environment in ways that seem intelligent yet remain profoundly natural. The forest breathes through them, and every plant, every tree, every leaf above is subtly touched by their presence. Above ground, mushrooms announce themselves briefly in soft colors and shapes, ephemeral beacons of a deeper system. They release spores into the night air, tiny seeds of continuity that drift gently like golden dust through the forest. These spores are the reproductive whispers of fungi, capable of traveling miles on air currents, carrying the potential to anchor a new network in some distant soil. In this gentle act, life is shared without ceremony or fanfare, yet it is precise, persistent, and enduring. Each spore carries a story of survival and continuity, a message of quiet persistence that has traveled through time for millions of years. Mushrooms also engage in an ancient dance with the trees that shelter them. Through structures called mycorrhizae, fungal threads entwine with tree roots, exchanging nutrients and water in a silent covenant. Trees provide sugars to fungi, nourishing their subterranean growth, while fungi deliver minerals, nitrogen, and phosphorus to the roots that cannot reach them alone. This symbiosis is not hurried, not loud, but patient and enduring. It is a system of care, subtle and unassuming, reminding us that even in the natural world, mutual support can be elegant and unobtrusive. Among these networks, certain species glow softly in the dark, bioluminescent lanterns emerging from decay and shadow. They light the undergrowth with hues of green and blue, a quiet illumination that hints at the mysteries of biochemical alchemy. The glow is not merely for show. It may attract insects to aid in spore dispersal, or perhaps it is a subtle signal within the fungal network itself. Whatever the reason, the soft luminescence transforms the forest floor into a dreamlike tableau, a nocturnal painting of living threads that shimmer and pulse in harmony with the rhythm of the earth. Beyond reproduction and symbiosis, fungi play a vital role in the movement of nutrients. Decomposition is their domain, a slow and careful dismantling of fallen trees, leaves, and organic matter, returning life to the soil in a quiet cycle of transformation. Each decayed log, each softened leaf, becomes a nutrient bridge, supporting the growth of future plants and the continuation of entire ecosystems. The act of breaking down is also an act of creation. The forest depends upon this patient system of recycling, and mushrooms are its gentle custodians. The behavior of fungi has even prompted scientists to wonder about their intelligence. Though non-sentient, mycelial networks demonstrate remarkable adaptability, problem-solving, and communication. They navigate complex terrain, redistribute resources to areas of need, and respond to threats with chemical signals. While we cannot call them intelligent in a human sense, their quiet efficiency, responsiveness, and ability to sustain entire ecosystems evoke a sense of contemplative awe. It is intelligence without thought, wisdom without consciousness, a subtle lesson in how life can coordinate and care without haste, ego, or fanfare. As we observe these quiet systems, the forest becomes a classroom, and the mushrooms its professors of patience and harmony. Mycelium threads tell stories of survival, resilience, and gentle interconnection. They remind us that life does not need to shout to be effective, that support can be given invisibly, and that the smallest actions, an exchanged mineral, a drifting spore, a glowing bioluminescent lantern, can ripple across vast landscapes. It is a system of life-sharing, a quiet symphony of interdependence, orchestrated without haste, without struggle, and without expectation. In this luminous calm, the forest floor ceases to feel ordinary. It is a living web of invisible hands, extending silently beneath our feet, nurturing, connecting, and sustaining. Mushrooms are the visible punctuation in this ongoing story, the brief blossoms of a quiet yet immense network. And within each moment of observation, we are invited to slow down, to breathe with the rhythm of the mycelium, to marvel at the careful generosity of nature, to feel the subtle pulse of the forest in our own calm heartbeat. The science of mushrooms is not just a collection of facts. It is a meditation on connection, adaptation, and patience. Each thread we trace is a path of wisdom, each spore a gentle reminder of continuity, and every glowing cap an echo of life's enduring creativity. In understanding fungi, we glimpse an invisible world that mirrors our own potential for quiet, nurturing interactions. There is serenity in this knowledge, a softness that washes over the mind, guiding the listener into deeper calm, and inviting a sense of wonder that is as gentle as it is profound. And so, as we linger among these threads, these spores, these glowing lights, allow the forest to speak in its slow, intricate language. Let the layers of soil, root, and fungus remind you that life thrives quietly in every shadow, every corner, every moment. Here, beneath the canopy, we witness a world where patience is power, connectivity is intelligence, and every subtle exchange nourishes something larger than ourselves. The soft rhythm of fungal life invites us to pause, to breathe, and to sink into the gentle understanding that everything is interconnected. Here, in the quiet of biology, in the hush of ancient networks, the forest teaches us not just about fungi, but about the art of moving gently, living softly, and existing harmoniously. Mycelium, spores, symbiosis, decomposition, and glow. They are the quiet verses of a cosmic poem written beneath our feet, waiting for our attention, waiting to guide us into awe, serenity, and the soft embrace of night. Beneath the quiet canopy of night, the forest seems ordinary at first glance. Yet, for those who pause and listen, subtle whispers of life emerge from the shadows, carried along networks of fungi that pulse unseen beneath the soil. Mycelium does more than connect roots. It communicates, exchanging chemical messages that ripple through the earth. These signals guide growth, warn of danger, and coordinate resources, forming a hidden conversation that occurs without sound, without eyes, and without rush. It is a silent intelligence, an invisible dialogue that links entire ecosystems in a gentle, unspoken choreography. Among the known species, some display behaviors that defy simple explanation. Fungi with strange forms and delicate structures emerge in corners untouched by humans, their adaptations both beautiful and enigmatic. Certain mushrooms curl and twist in ways that seem deliberate, responding to light, moisture, and unseen forces with subtle precision. Others have surfaces that shimmer faintly, catching reflections of moonlight as though intentionally inviting notice. Even the patterns of growth across a forest floor can appear ordered, as if guided by an unseen hand, a whisper of design hidden in the natural world. In the dimness, bioluminescent fungi glow softly, as if carrying their own quiet lanterns into shadowed spaces. Some species emit a continuous phosphorescent pulse, a faint heartbeat of light that can last hours, revealing intricate structures that might otherwise go unnoticed. These glowing forms attract nocturnal insects, guiding them gently toward spores, while simultaneously bathing the forest floor in an otherworldly aura. The phenomenon is mesmerizing, a reminder that life often communicates through subtle beauty, and that the forest contains patterns and displays far beyond human perception. There are species that challenge our understanding even further, fungi whose interactions with insects are almost magical in subtlety. Certain mushrooms emit chemicals that influence behavior, guiding insects to assist in reproduction or dispersal. Ants, flies, and other tiny creatures move in response to cues invisible to us, forming a quiet ballet choreographed by the fungus. These interactions are not violent or harsh, but delicate and precise, as if each organism has a role in a larger, harmonious design. Observing such phenomena evokes wonder without alarm, curiosity without urgency, inviting us to marvel at the complexity hidden beneath our awareness. Ancient human cultures have long recognized the enigmatic nature of these organisms. From the luminous fungi of dark forests to rare mushrooms with unique effects, myths and stories arose, imagining sacred properties and hidden wisdom. Certain species were considered portals between worlds, vessels of knowledge, or conduits of subtle energy. These beliefs were not rooted in fear, but in reverence, reflecting the human intuition that fungi are both ancient and mysterious, straddling the boundary between the visible and the invisible, the known and the unknown. Modern science continues to uncover new mysteries. Researchers have documented fungal communication that defies simple explanations, patterns of growth that respond to conditions miles away, and chemical exchanges that seem almost strategic in complexity. Some experiments reveal fungi transferring nutrients to plants beyond their immediate reach, almost like deliberate choices, suggesting awareness of their surroundings without consciousness as we understand it. Other studies have observed bioluminescence responding to environmental changes in ways not yet fully understood, hinting at subtle intelligence woven into the fabric of life itself. Even now, unexplained species are being discovered in remote caves, deep forests, and hidden wetlands. They carry unique biochemical properties, luminescent displays, and growth habits unlike any catalogued before. Each new discovery invites both scientific curiosity and poetic reflection. These fungi remind us that the natural world is far from fully known, that hidden layers of complexity exist beneath every leaf and within every shadow. In these moments, we feel the gentle hum of life's mysteries, a soft invitation to wonder, to slow down, and to drift quietly alongside these ancient architects of the earth. It is not only their biology, but their subtle orchestration of the world around them that inspires awe. Fungi do not demand attention, yet they influence forests, wetlands, and even desert soils in profound ways. The connections they form, the signals they send, the slow spreading of mycelium, all create a hidden lattice of life that functions with precision and harmony. Watching the faint glow of a mushroom in a dark corner, one senses the unseen threads, the quiet movements, the patterns of life extending far beyond human perception. It is a reminder that much of existence thrives in gentle mystery, unfolding with patient rhythm, unseen yet essential. The forest, when viewed through the lens of fungi, becomes a living network of stories, subtle and intricate. Each mushroom is both an individual and a node in a vast network, its form, glow, and behavior a tiny stanza in an ongoing poem of life. Observing these phenomena invites us to slow our own pace, to notice patterns in our surroundings, and to sense the invisible threads that connect all living things. There is no urgency here, only quiet fascination, a soft thrill of discovery that lulls the mind into calm curiosity. In the end, the mysteries of fungi are reminders of the limits of our knowledge and the beauty of patience. Life has been weaving these hidden connections for billions of years, long before humans walked the earth. Each strange species, each glowing thread, each chemical whisper is part of a broader story, one that continues to unfold beneath the forest floor. The gentle pulse of the fungal world invites us to witness, to breathe, and to let our thoughts drift with the quiet rhythm of life. And as we linger in this world, where light glows softly on decaying wood and fog drifts through mushroom clusters, we find a quiet lesson, that the most profound mysteries often lie in patience, in subtlety, and in connection. There is beauty in what we cannot fully explain, in what moves without observation, in what communicates without speech. Mushrooms, in their quiet wisdom, offer an invitation to wonder, to rest, and to sink into the calm embrace of the night, where the unseen threads of life continue to hum softly beneath our feet. As night deepens, the forest transforms into a quiet cathedral of life, each shadow softened by the gentle glow of moonlight filtering through leaves. Paths wind softly beneath towering trees, and the air carries the earthy scent of damp soil, moss, and fallen leaves. Every step invites awareness of the hidden world at our feet, where mushrooms emerge like tiny sentinels, each holding secrets of growth and resilience. There is no rush here. The forest moves in slow rhythms, and we are invited to drift alongside it, observing without haste, breathing in harmony with the soft pulse of the land. Along the forest floor, clusters of mushrooms appear, each unique in form, texture, and hue. Some stretch slender and pale, reaching delicately toward the dim light, while others curve with thick, rounded caps, resting like quiet domes on the earth. The surfaces shimmer faintly with moisture, reflecting the soft illumination of bioluminescent companions, casting gentle glows on the surrounding moss. Tiny spore clouds rise when the wind stirs, drifting slowly through the night, a silent ballet that carries life quietly across the forest. Each movement is unhurried, a whisper of continuity and connection in this hidden realm. We come upon a grove where golden caps cluster densely, each one standing with quiet dignity. The soft luminescence of certain species casts a calming aura, bathing the surrounding ground in muted amber. There is a tactile richness here, the delicate texture of gills, the slight roughness of stems, the soft resistance of damp soil beneath our fingertips. Every mushroom is both an individual and part of a larger tapestry, a network woven of mycelium that stretches invisibly beneath the leaf litter. As we move slowly, the sense of interconnectedness deepens, and the forest feels alive in its subtle communication. In more shadowed corners, the forest reveals rare finds. Tiny mushrooms with jewel-like caps glow faintly, scattered among fallen logs and hidden crevices. Their forms are intricate, almost artistic, as if sculpted carefully by unseen hands. Here, the night slows even further, the quiet intensified by the gentle hum of insects and the distant rustle of leaves. Each discovery is an invitation to linger, to study closely, and to let the mind absorb the soft wonder of the scene. Every step forward is both movement and meditation, a calm journey of observation and reflection. As we continue, the landscape shifts gradually, leading toward deeper forest areas where light grows sparser. The air feels cooler, heavier with moisture, and a faint mist begins to curl along the ground. Mushrooms here are larger, their caps wide and luminous, standing like ancient guardians of the woodland. Some emit subtle phosphorescence, painting faint arcs of light that drift into the surrounding fog. Walking among them, we sense the careful orchestration of life, the invisible threads that connect each organism to its neighbors, to the trees, and to the soil itself. This is a realm of soft mystery, where science and poetry intertwine seamlessly. Moving toward a small, hidden cave, the fungi take on even stranger forms. Stalactite-like growths hang from the damp walls, tiny luminous specks, the shadows, and clusters of bioluminescent mushrooms illuminate the rocky floor with soft, shifting glows. The atmosphere is hushed, as if the cave itself holds its breath, allowing every detail to emerge gently. Each organism seems to claim its space without competition, coexisting with delicate balance. Observing these scenes with slow awareness brings a sense of profound calm, a recognition that life thrives even in concealed, quiet corners, far from the human eye. Venturing further, the forest transitions into a tropical zone, where humidity wraps around every surface. Mushrooms here present an astonishing variety: vibrant oranges, deep reds, subtle violets, and soft creams, each responding to light in gentle ways. Some sway slightly in a soft breeze, releasing clouds of spores that float lazily into the air, forming a mist of life that drifts between ferns and undergrowth. The experience is immersive. The textures, colors, and movement create a dreamlike impression, a slow cinematic journey that invites the observer to let go, to follow the rhythms of this living tapestry. Throughout this nocturnal wander, the sense of intimacy deepens. Each mushroom encountered is not merely an object of study, but a companion in the journey, a reminder that life exists in layers, often hidden, and that our understanding is enriched by slow observation. The forest floor becomes a map of quiet interactions, roots entwined with mycelium, spores carried to receptive soil, chemical signals passing invisibly through the ground. Walking softly, breathing evenly, the mind attunes to these rhythms, letting curiosity move gently, like a current beneath the surface, exploring without urgency, discovering without expectation. Occasionally, the glow of a rare species illuminates the surrounding ferns and moss, casting shadows that stretch slowly and dissolve softly. These moments of visual poetry are fleeting but profound, capturing the subtle intelligence of nature's design. Each pause allows the observer to reflect, to sense the harmony of ecosystems, to acknowledge the careful balance maintained through quiet processes. The soft, constant motion of growth and interaction, largely invisible, becomes palpable through these glimpses, and a feeling of meditative calm settles deeply, as though the forest itself is breathing alongside us. As our journey continues, the forest expands into a series of gentle hills and shallow valleys, where mushrooms form carpets of color and texture across the undergrowth. The rhythmic pattern of discovery, pause, observe, drift forward, carries the listener through a cinematic landscape, each turn revealing new shapes, subtle glows, and quiet textures. The imagination is invited to wander slowly, to appreciate the details of gills, stems, and caps, the subtle interplay of light and moisture, and the invisible networks beneath. This is exploration not of conquest, but of mindful presence, a slow, immersive passage through life's hidden wonders. Finally, the forest opens to a tranquil glade, where the moonlight spills gently across clusters of mushrooms arranged as if in careful design. The soft rustle of leaves and distant hum of nocturnal life form a backdrop of gentle sound, carrying the mind towards stillness. Here, observation becomes contemplation. The journey through caves, tropical forests, and shadowed groves culminates in quiet understanding. Each step has been slow, deliberate, and filled with gentle awareness, guiding the mind to release tension, to soften, and to drift in harmony with the subtle rhythms of life around and beneath us. This calm journey through the mushroom world reveals more than species or structures. It uncovers a living, breathing network of delicate intelligence, subtle beauty, and infinite patience. Walking slowly, observing closely, and sensing the interwoven threads of life allows the mind to settle. The cinematic experience of these nocturnal explorations encourages the listener to move gently, breathe evenly, and align with the quiet pulse of the forest. And as the glow of mushrooms softens in the distance, the body relaxes, the mind eases, and the heart drifts into the soft cadence of the natural world, ready to continue its nocturnal voyage into deeper wonder. Imagine, for a moment, if the vast networks of mycelium beneath the forest could reveal themselves in glowing patterns, visible to the human eye like threads of starlight weaving beneath the earth. A silent, subterranean galaxy, intricate and luminous, stretching for miles in tangled constellations, connecting trees, ferns, and mosses in a web of quiet communication. The hidden architecture of life emerges as if the soil itself were a night sky, each filament a filament of light, each junction a node in a vast, soft network. To witness it is to glimpse the secret choreography of the natural world, where energy flows, nutrients travel, and life pulses in subtle harmony. The imagination drifts further, painting the mycelium not just as threads of fungus, but as nature's own lanterns, glowing gently to mark hidden passageways, secret rooms, and unseen gatherings of life. In this vision, the forest itself becomes a cathedral of illumination, where spores rise slowly, drifting through the air like floating embers, creating a soft luminescent fog that envelopes the undergrowth. Each step along the forest floor reveals tiny gardens of light, mushrooms acting as gentle beacons, guiding insects, nourishing soil, and signaling the unseen movements of energy across the living web. The quiet is profound, a steady heartbeat beneath the canopy, where nothing is hurried and everything unfolds in deliberate, measured grace. Beneath this dreamlike vision, the mind is invited to wander along the pathways of underground networks, imagining communication as pulses of soft light moving silently through soil, connecting the roots of massive trees with the delicate tendrils of small plants. Signals travel in whispers, not words, orchestrating growth, decay, and renewal, creating a tapestry of life that is invisible yet omnipresent. Forests become a symphony of quiet interactions, each pulse a note in the eternal composition of survival, adaptation, and interconnection. As the mind observes, it relaxes, learning the rhythm of patience, the elegance of timing, and the gentle persistence of life in forms that are usually hidden. Floating spores, released in the night air, add a soft, hypnotic layer to this vision. They drift slowly, tracing arcs that feel choreographed, illuminated faintly by the gentle glow of bioluminescent fungi below. In the imagination, each spore carries a whisper of possibility, a promise of future growth, a fragment of the unseen order that sustains the forest. The air itself becomes a moving canvas of quiet lights and drifting particles, as though the entire ecosystem is breathing, pulsing, and softly humming a lullaby for anyone willing to observe. These drifting forms invite the mind to slow, to trace patterns without urgency, and to feel the interconnectedness of all things in a tangible yet gentle way. Consider the forest canopy from above, but through the lens of this nocturnal illumination. Mycelium webs twist beneath the surface like intricate lacework, mirroring the stars above, connecting all living organisms in a grid of mutual support. Trees seem to communicate not through words, but through subtle signals of growth, leaf chemistry, and root exchanges, mediated by the fungal network. Every plant, every moss, every insect participates in this quiet dialogue, creating a world of shared existence that is unseen yet profoundly real. Observing this imagined symphony, the mind can settle into awe without strain, feeling both the immensity of nature and the intimacy of its smallest details. The metaphor extends further. Mushrooms as gentle lanterns guiding our perception, illuminating both the forest floor and the mind's eye. Each glow is a reminder that even in darkness, there is structure, connection, and purpose. The bioluminescent shimmer becomes a visual language of patience and timing, teaching that life need not hurry to thrive, that complexity does not require loudness, and that quiet persistence is as vital as the most visible displays of energy. As the observer drifts along this imagined path, a sense of trust arises. Trust in nature, trust in the rhythms of life, trust in the calm pulse that carries all things forward. Moving further into this conceptual landscape, imagine the forest responding in soft waves, communicating through faint pulses of light. A cluster of mushrooms may brighten subtly, signaling a nutrient-rich area. A tree's roots pulse in reply, sharing energy through unseen channels. Fungi gently guide the movements of creatures, nudging the flow of life along the optimal path. These interactions, imperceptible in our waking world, become a quiet ballet of coordination in this dreamlike vision, a mesmerizing dance of purpose without chaos, soft yet deliberate, delicate yet enduring. The mind is invited to float alongside this rhythm, feeling the slow wave of interdependence and marveling at the gentle intelligence embedded in life's smallest structures. Even as the imagination drifts towards surreal expanses, the grounding of science remains. Mycelium really does connect organisms, transport nutrients, and facilitate communication between plants. The dreamlike imagery is rooted in truth, translating biological reality into a soft, cinematic meditation. The visualization of glowing webs, pulsating networks, and softly illuminated mushrooms bridges fact and fantasy, allowing the listener to explore a deeper understanding without haste or distraction. The forest becomes both real and imagined, a canvas for the mind to wander safely while absorbing the wonder and complexity of natural systems. As we continue, the sense of depth grows. The mycelium stretches beneath valleys and hills, beneath rivers and meadows, invisible yet undeniably present. Visualizing it glowing softly in the dark reveals its scale, connecting vast landscapes in a delicate latticework. Forests that seem separate above ground are intimately connected below, a hidden unity shaping growth and survival. The imagination drifts over these networks slowly, lingering on each node, each filament, appreciating both the detail and the immense scale. The mind is invited to rest in this knowledge, that life's order is subtle, pervasive, and profoundly calming. Finally, the dreamlike journey eases into a gentle meditation on presence. Mushrooms, spores, mycelium, and forests all exist within a slow rhythm, a quiet pulse that invites observation and stillness. There is no urgency, no finality, only a continuous, serene unfolding of life. Floating in this vision, the listener experiences awe that is soft, curiosity that is gentle, and calmness that spreads like the subtle glow of a mushroom in the dark. The mind drifts, the body relaxes, and the forest of glowing possibilities becomes a sanctuary for thought, rest, and soft wonder. In this expansive, luminous landscape, the imagination has explored both the tangible and the poetic. The interplay of glowing threads, drifting spores, and quiet pulses creates a nocturnal tapestry of life that is as mesmerizing as it is soothing. Here, science and imagination coexist without tension, guiding the listener through a world that is at once factual, metaphorical, and deeply relaxing. The forest of light and life whispers in silence, a gentle companion for the mind as it drifts toward rest, carrying curiosity and calm together in perfect harmony. As the soft glow of fungi continues to illuminate the forest floor, it invites reflection on the quiet lessons they offer to humanity. Mushrooms, with their delicate caps and intricate networks beneath the soil, teach us about the profound ways in which life is connected. Each tiny organism participates in a web of support, exchanging nutrients, energy, and signals with other plants and fungi, creating a hidden tapestry that sustains entire ecosystems. Observing this, the mind begins to recognize parallels within human life, the ways we too rely on one another, often in ways unseen and unacknowledged, to thrive and endure. There is a subtle beauty in the idea of hidden support systems, mirrored in the mycelium that reaches silently beneath layers of earth. These networks carry sustenance and information across distances that our eyes cannot perceive, reminding us that much of what sustains life happens beyond immediate awareness. In our own lives, the help, encouragement, and care we receive quietly, often without recognition, forms a similarly vital foundation. Fungi offer a gentle metaphor for these connections, showing that strength is not always visible, and that the soft, persistent flow of support shapes entire communities. Symbiosis, as demonstrated by fungi, provides yet another lens through which to view relationships. Mycorrhizal fungi intertwine with the roots of trees, exchanging nutrients and information, each party benefiting from the other in ways that enhance survival and growth. This balance, quiet and reciprocal, is a lesson in cooperation and patience. We, too, find our greatest strength not in isolation but in mutual respect, gentle exchange, and mindful attention to the needs of those around us. In the soft glow of the fungal world, it becomes clear that harmony emerges from understanding, trust, and the willingness to share resources without fanfare or expectation. Throughout human history, cultures have revered mushrooms not only for their utility, but also for their subtle spiritual symbolism. Ancient peoples recognized the mysterious qualities of certain fungi, using them in rituals, medicine, and ceremonies. They saw in mushrooms a representation of life's hidden forces, a connection between the visible and the unseen, a bridge linking earth and consciousness. In contemplating these practices, we are reminded that awe and reverence for the small, quiet wonders of the natural world have long guided human imagination, grounding societies in respect for the rhythms of life. The lessons extend beyond the tangible into philosophy and emotion. Mushrooms teach patience, showing us that growth often happens slowly, beneath the surface, before manifesting in visible form. They remind us that the most profound changes occur gradually, imperceptibly, and that sudden appearances are usually the culmination of long, quiet processes. Observing the gentle emergence of a mushroom cap from the soil, we can consider the value of timing, the importance of nurturing, and the power of persistence. There is solace in recognizing that even small, unseen efforts contribute meaningfully to the broader web of life. Contemplating these hidden networks encourages reflection on the notion of interdependence. Just as fungi and plants rely on one another, humans flourish when we recognize our roles within the wider community. The forest teaches us humility, patience, and attentiveness, showing that progress and growth are collective experiences, woven from countless quiet interactions. Each moment of care, each subtle act of support, mirrors the fungal networks that sustain entire ecosystems. There is comfort in realizing that just as the forest thrives through connection, so too can our lives be enriched through attentiveness to others, through the quiet acts that form the unseen scaffolding of well-being. As spores drift slowly through the evening air, illuminated by faint bioluminescence, they become symbols of possibility and renewal. Each floating speck carries the potential for growth, the promise of transformation, and the gentle reminder that life is continuous, evolving, and interconnected. Observing this, the listener is invited to consider the cycles of giving and receiving in their own life, and the ways in which small gestures can ripple outward, supporting growth far beyond what we might immediately perceive. The mushroom's quiet wisdom whispers lessons in humility, patience, and gentle persistence, extending a calming perspective for the mind and heart. In this reflective state, it is possible to appreciate the emotional resonance of fungi without needing to analyze or categorize. They evoke a sense of wonder, not through spectacle, but through subtlety, through the persistent and patient work of life beneath the surface. Their lessons are soft but profound, that growth is often invisible, that connections are foundational, that harmony arises from balance and attentiveness. The mind, absorbing these truths in the calm and quiet of the nocturnal forest, can begin to internalize the rhythm of gentle interconnection, allowing curiosity, appreciation, and calm to deepen simultaneously. Ultimately, mushrooms invite us to contemplate the poetry of support, connection, and quiet growth. They show that life is sustained not solely through visible effort, but through the hidden, enduring threads that bind us together. In their presence, we are reminded that even in darkness, subtle forces operate continuously, shaping and sustaining the world. By embracing these reflections, the listener is encouraged to adopt a gentler, more patient perspective, finding resonance in the soft lessons of fungal life, lessons that calm the mind, enrich understanding, and nurture a sense of quiet belonging. The forest, alive with softly drifting spores and faintly glowing fungi, becomes a metaphorical guide. Its patience, its quiet rhythms, and its hidden networks of care offer a template for human reflection. In observing the gentle interplay between mushroom and tree, root and spore, the listener can feel a deepened sense of connection, an awareness of shared existence, and a calm appreciation for the intricate, invisible systems that sustain both nature and ourselves. In this quiet meditation, the mind drifts naturally toward contemplation, rest, and a gentle awareness of interdependence, readying itself for deeper relaxation. As the reflections settle, the soft luminescence of the forest encourages the listener to remain present, attentive to the rhythms of life that continue unseen beneath the surface. Each mushroom, each fungal thread, each drifting spore is a testament to quiet persistence and invisible support. The mind, having wandered through these lessons of connection and patience, can now rest in the comforting realization that both nature and humanity are sustained by gentle, unseen networks. In this understanding, there is calm, there is wonder, and there is a soft, reassuring serenity that prepares the listener to drift further into peaceful contemplation and restful sleep. In the stillness of the forest, where the air is soft and the shadows stretch gently beneath ancient trees, there exists a quiet rhythm that few notice. Mushrooms, in their patient emergence, remind us that life unfolds at its own pace. Their growth is neither hurried nor demanding, but deliberate, steady, and unassuming. Observing them encourages a mindful awareness, a gentle recognition that much of the world's beauty thrives in patience and subtlety. The forest floor, scattered with delicate caps and hidden mycelium, invites a deep breath, a slow exhalation, and a softening of thought. As we reflect on the journey through the fungal world, it becomes clear that each tiny organism holds a lesson in quiet persistence. From the first spores that drift invisibly through the night air to the elaborate networks beneath the soil, mushrooms exemplify the elegance of slow creation. They reveal that impact is not always immediate, that subtle forces can shape entire ecosystems without fanfare. The mind, gently following the contours of this natural rhythm, begins to appreciate the understated wonder that permeates every layer of life. Even in their smallest forms, fungi display intricate complexity. A single mushroom may seem fragile, yet it is the visible expression of vast underground networks, silently connecting roots, transferring nutrients, and communicating with the surrounding environment. There is a softness in this revelation, a comfort in knowing that unseen support systems sustain the visible world. Each delicate cap, each faintly glowing spore, becomes a symbol of the quiet diligence that underlies all thriving life. Contemplating this, the listener may feel a tender reassurance that just as the forest endures through subtle coordination, so too can we find resilience in our own patient, understated actions. Recalling the lessons of earlier reflections, we remember that fungi are not solitary. They are interwoven with every tree, plant, and hidden creature in the ecosystem, forming bonds that transcend what the eye can perceive. Mycelium stretches silently across meters, sometimes kilometers, knitting together life in a web of mutual care. This perspective inspires a gentle contemplation of our own connections, the relationships, support, and quiet kindnesses that form the foundation of human experience. As the mind absorbs this imagery, tension begins to dissolve, replaced by a soft awareness of unity and shared existence. The pace of the forest at night mirrors the rhythm of thought we are invited to adopt. Unhurried, observant, and attuned to the subtle movements that sustain life. In this serenity, we can revisit the few soothing facts that have accompanied our journey. How mushrooms recycle nutrients, how bioluminescent species illuminate the shadows, how ancient networks predate the trees we see above. Each fact, shared slowly and gently, serves less to impress than to invite contemplation, to draw attention to the wonder quietly persisting beneath the surface. There is a meditative quality in this recollection, a soft echo of awe that invites the listener to linger in calm reflection. Breathing with the rhythm of the night, one may imagine spores floating softly through the air, like drifting motes of starlight within a deep, silent space. The forest remains motionless, yet alive with imperceptible activity, each small action contributing to a vast, patient design. There is no rush, no urgency, only the steady unfolding of life's quiet marvels. In this observation, a sense of profound stillness emerges, a gentle settling of thought and spirit that encourages a closer alignment with the natural cadence of the world around us. Mindfulness deepens as the listener allows themselves to inhabit the slow, deliberate existence of the fungi. Each observation becomes an opportunity to witness life's tender persistence, each reflection a chance to cultivate inner calm. The beauty of slow growth, the elegance of invisible networks, and the soft glow of nocturnal forests coalesce into a serene meditation, offering a mental space that is tranquil, balanced, and deeply restorative. By embracing this stillness, the listener is invited to move closer to the subtle rhythms of rest and relaxation, preparing for the deeper descent into sleep. As this quiet reflection continues, the mind may soften further, following the gentle interplay of light, shadow, and life on the forest floor. Awareness shifts from the details of individual organisms to the collective harmony they create, the delicate balance that supports and sustains. There is a calm acceptance in observing the slow, purposeful unfolding of the fungal world, a reassurance that the universe has its own patient tempo. This perspective, absorbed slowly, resonates with the listener's inner state, easing tension, inviting introspection, and fostering a sense of safe, serene presence. In these meditative moments, the journey through mushrooms becomes more than a scientific or aesthetic exploration. It transforms into a mindful practice, a gentle attunement to the quiet rhythms that sustain life. By attending to the soft emergence of spores, the delicate unfolding of caps, and the patient work of underground networks, we cultivate a capacity for observation, gratitude, and calm awareness. The forest whispers its lessons, softly, insistently, guiding thought toward presence and peaceful engagement. With each breath, the listener may notice a subtle slowing of mental pace, a gentle settling into the calm energy of the forest. The lessons of patience, connection, and quiet growth blend with the natural rhythm of the night, allowing the mind to drift lightly across the unseen landscapes of life. In this reflective serenity, there is a deepening of relaxation, a mindful appreciation of slow wonder, and a readiness to transition toward the soft descent into sleep that awaits. As night deepens, the forest exhales a quiet sigh. Shadows stretch longer, softening the shapes of trees and leaves, while the gentle glow of mushrooms casts a dim, comforting light across the forest floor. Each glow seems to pulse in harmony with your own breathing, subtle and rhythmic, inviting a natural slowing, a softening of thought, a gentle surrender to the quiet. The world around you becomes hushed, each sound muted, each movement deliberate, each life quietly continuing its serene rhythm. You may notice the stillness settling deeper, like a soft blanket draping over the landscape, over your mind, over your body. Imagine walking slowly along a moss-covered path, the earth beneath your feet soft and yielding. Tiny clusters of fungi rise from the shadows, their faint luminescence like lanterns guiding you through the gentle night. There is no hurry here, no destination, only the slow, deliberate unfolding of each step, each breath, each soft pulse of life beneath the soil. The spores drift lazily through the air, floating like miniature stars in a dark sky, and as they move, You feel your own thoughts becoming lighter, slower, more diffuse. There is nothing to chase, nothing to hold, only the soothing rhythm of the forest and the quiet, gentle light of the mushrooms. The wind stirs softly through the trees, brushing against leaves and moss, carrying with it the faint, earthy scent of damp soil and growing life. Each inhalation draws this calm deeper into your body. Each exhalation releases tension and quiets the mind. Feel your chest rise and fall, in harmony with the subtle energy of the forest, a slow, natural cadence that carries you further away from the busy thoughts of the day. The mushroom's soft glow seems to expand, surrounding you with warmth and serenity, tiny lights that feel alive yet utterly peaceful, reminding you that the world can be gentle, patient, and safe. Drifting now, your attention softens, your awareness widening like the gentle spread of dawn light across a still landscape. You notice the layers of life beneath the surface, the delicate threads of mycelium connecting roots, the silent work of decomposers nourishing the soil, the quiet interdependence of all living things. These processes continue unnoticed and unhurried, yet perfectly balanced, offering a reminder that even in stillness, life persists in harmony. As you breathe with this rhythm, you may feel the tension of your body dissolving, your mind settling into the effortless pace of nature, aligning with the forest's timeless calm. The mushroom's glow shifts slightly with each pulse, a living, breathing reminder of soft constellations hidden in the undergrowth. Your eyes feel heavy, your mind slowing further, thoughts becoming gentle ripples rather than waves. Every inhalation carries serenity, every exhalation releases residual worry. The night embraces you in its quiet presence, allowing awareness to soften without force. Here, in this hushed, dimly lit world, the boundaries between waking and resting blur. Your consciousness drifts, untethered yet comforted, floating alongside the faintly glowing fungal lanterns, carried by the slow, hypnotic rhythm of the forest's night. Imagine now the forest in its entirety becoming still. The leaves cease rustling, the air itself grows thicker with calm, and the glow of mushrooms becomes the only movement, steady and gentle. Each light flickers softly, like a heartbeat, a reminder that you are safe, that the world is held together in quiet order, and that there is nothing urgent here. You are part of this calm landscape, a gentle observer, breathing slowly, moving ever so softly with the unhurried pulse of life. Your mind begins to sink deeper and deeper, into a state of dreamy relaxation, where thought is slow, soft, and entirely at ease. As the final moments of awareness drift past, your body releases the last remnants of tension. Your mind floats lightly on the gentle waves of quiet, guided by the slow, rhythmic pulse of glowing mushrooms and the hush of the night forest. Each breath, each tiny spore in the air, carries you further into rest. There is no effort, only gentle surrender, as the forest, the light, and the slow unfolding of life envelop you in perfect calm. In this serene embrace, sleep is a natural continuation, soft, deep, and utterly peaceful. The forest exhales one final, quiet breath. Darkness settles fully over the trees, softening the edges of every leaf, every branch, every gentle curve of the earth. The glow of mushrooms fades slowly, not vanishing suddenly, but dimming with a tender patience, leaving the forest in an embrace of soft, comforting shadow. In this quiet, there is no hurry, no expectation, only the peaceful rhythm of life continuing gently in every corner, unseen but felt. The night is complete, calm, and eternal in its quiet perfection. You may feel yourself blending with this stillness, your awareness softening as if carried on the last lingering whispers of wind. The forest has guided you here, through its hidden wonders, through threads of life and gentle mysteries that unfold slowly, deliberately, with nothing to disturb the mind. Every thought becomes a soft ripple across a placid pond, expanding slowly, then disappearing into the hush. Here, in the embrace of night, there is only gentle awareness, a tender connection to the unseen and the softly glowing threads that hold the world together. Even as the light continues to fade, the subtle presence of life remains. Tiny pulses of energy, the slow breathing of the earth, the quiet persistence of roots and spores, remind you that calmness is always here, beneath and beyond the visible. You are part of this ongoing serenity, floating effortlessly in a gentle suspension of time and thought. The forest's rhythm, once observed, now becomes a gentle background pulse within yourself. Each breath is deeper, slower, as if the night itself has become part of your own body, lulling you further into rest. There is no need to hold on to anything, no reason to rush, no expectation for tomorrow. Just the soft hum of life, the tender dimming of light, and the warm, embracing quiet that surrounds everything. You have journeyed through secret worlds, seen threads of life beneath the soil, glimpsed the ancient and mysterious workings of fungi, and now you rest alongside the forest, at one with its gentle flow. The world is vast, yet here, in this moment, it is intimate, comforting, and entirely safe. Allow your thoughts to dissolve into the same slow fade as the glowing mushrooms, into the gentle darkness where every sound is softened, every image is diffused, and every pulse of life continues calmly, without haste. Let your mind and body drift alongside this soft, cinematic dissolve, carried by the rhythmic, unhurried pulse of nature. With each passing moment, the edges of wakefulness soften further, until you are entirely enveloped in quiet, stillness, and peace. Rest now. Let the forest's gentle mysteries, the fading luminescence, and the serene night carry you fully into sleep. Every last trace of tension drifts away, leaving only calm, leaving only wonder, leaving only the quiet, deep restfulness of night. And here, in the soft embrace of nature, you remain, gently drifting, perfectly at peace.